My name is Juniper Harrower, and I'm an environmental artist and ecologist and researcher. I grew up in the desert near Joshua Tree, so California deserts in the Mojave. The plants were just kind of a part of our world and our community, and so that started really young. Most of my life was the common perception is that deserts are these barren, dry, empty places. Deserts are some of the last untouched ecosystems. The deserts in the Mojave are as diverse as a redwood forest. I decided to study plant biology because because I got into UC Berkeley, and that was amazing. And there was this feeling that you didn't go to college to study art. What kind of job would you have? How could you throw away this opportunity? You know, that's something that people with money do, is would study art. I went really deep, the background in genomics and plant genomics and understanding and thinking about plant communities in this very particular way with particular cultures of practice and ways of approaching knowing these plant communities. So there's always this back and forth where I felt like I was choosing one thing and kind of setting the other down a little bit and then coming back. And then when I started a Ph.D. in the sciences in ecology, I was able to also pursue art at the same time and really kind of become a little more committed to the idea of not only going deep within both disciplines, but trying to find some interesting space between them. The freedom and the other ways of knowing plants and communities that I get to have as an artist is just much more resonant with my being. Some of my recent artwork really dove into thinking about plants in my community and their deep histories and our localized histories, and how I can not only sit with that and think about it as a community member, but just kind of dive deeper into that. And so this is an image of a plant leaf, and magnified, expanded really, really big. And you're seeing all of these veins magnified in a level, and so you can see all of their whorls and their different complications and patterns, and they change with every different leaf type, different plant species. I spent a lot of time with plants in my community, getting to know them and collecting different samples of leaves. I decayed the leaf, and then I soaked them and dyed them in an insect dye. It's called cochineal, and it dyes them this really beautiful shade of kind of blood red. It's actually really, really similar to our blood. The structure of chlorophyll and hemoglobin is if you looked at them structurally, they look identical, basically. I started experimenting with this kind of image making with the leaves themselves and doing solar printing. And so what I was doing is taking local histories of the plant community that I lived in. And so, you'll find deer that were browsing at the grass, or there's some eyes of neighbors who come by and live by these different plants, or a crow that sits in the top of the branches. Spend some time often in nature, kind of troubling or exploring the idea, and then I do a dive into research and tease it out a little bit more, and then I'm thinking visually, and so there's this back and forth as part of my research process. There's real science data kind of woven into the work that I do. My favorite work right now is the work I haven't created yet, but I have a bunch of it right here, and it's pouring out of me.